be able to join us right now. And then once you come back to your mat, I just want you to settle in child's pose. If child's pose is not comfortable for you because of any reason, usually it's the knees, but if any reason it's not comfortable for you, I do recommend you coming onto your back and just drawing knees to chest. I also like to encourage people in any of my classes to take any pose that is speaking to them at that point. So if neither one of those options is what your body needs in this moment, then feel free to take any other pose that your body needs right now. If you're choosing child's pose, your knees can be together or wide. Your arms can be extended out in front of you. Or maybe you allow your forehead to rest on prayer hands or stacked fists. Your arms can also rest back by your sides. Or one of my favorites makes me feel nice and cozy is tucking my arms underneath my chest with wide knees. And as you take the first few moments to settle in, just beginning to observe how you feel in this moment. And I want you to focus not only on the physical body, but also the mental body, the emotional body, and the energy body. Not really labeling anything as good or bad, just kind of checking in and seeing how you're feeling in this moment. Maybe there's one thing that your attention keeps being drawn back to, and that might become your primary focus for today's class. Allowing yourself to nourish that part of you so that when you step off of your mat, you might feel a little bit more whole. Maybe like you've brought yourself a little bit closer to being in balance. If you'd like, over the next few breaths, you can take that time to set an intention for your practice today. It might be focusing on that part that we were just drawing your attention to. Or it might be any other reason that you stepped onto your mat tonight. And then to seal it in, we'll take 3 clearing breaths together. So exhale out to prepare. Take a nice full deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, exhale, sigh it out. Big deep inhale through your nose. And exhale, sigh it out. One last big deep in. Big breath out. Coming back into a breath that works for you in this moment. And as you do, if your hands are extended out, walk them over to the left side of the mat. If you're on your back, you might take what we call in yin yoga, Dhananasana, where you stretch your legs out long and walk your legs and your arms to the same side of the mat, to the corresponding corner, so that you're stretching down one side of the body. So on our mat, it's kind of like half moon. Right? So you're laying on your mat, stretching out the side of your body, opening up the ribs, expanding, finding some length, but still keeping a fairly relaxed state. Your neck and your shoulders are still relaxed. So maybe your head turns to the side. Maybe it rests on your arm instead of the floor. And then walking hands over to the other side. And then breathing into the opposite side ribs. Finding some expansion. And without judgment, just noticing any differences between the right and the left. And bring your hands back to the center. And as you inhale, come forward onto your hands and knees into tabletop. Taking your time to be very deliberate about setting up the pose. Sometimes when we use these very basic rudimentary poses, we forget to be mindful of setting up our foundation, about noticing where our spine is at, finding length from crown to tail, finding the amount of engagement that we need, but also the amount of softness that we need as well. So spread your fingers wide, feel the earth underneath of your hands, your knees, and the tops of your feet. Then as you inhale, drop your belly down, bring your head up, tailbone up into cow. As you exhale, round your spine, push it to the ceiling, chin to chest, and tailbone under into cat. And inhale, drop your belly down as you lengthen forward and back. And exhale to round, pushing into your hands and the tops of your feet. Continue on with the rhythm of your breath. That can be whatever rhythm is natural for you right now. Not trying to change the rhythm to coordinate with your movement, but allowing your body to move along with the natural rhythm of your breath. Now feel free to be creative with your body and add in any additional movement that feels good for you, to loosen up your joints, to open up the channels of energy, to warm up your body and just simply feel good. So if you feel any areas that are maybe a little sticky, maybe find a little bit of movement that helps to open up those areas. And one of the principles that we forget about is that we can open up the body without actually feeling a stretch. So even if you're not feeling a stretch, notice where you can open your body. And a lot of times we can really do that through the breath. So taking one more of each. And after your final cat, just coming back into a neutral spine. Settling back into that stillness in the foundation. And maybe noticing how your body may feel just a little bit different as we enter into this pose once again. The next, I recommend using blocks for the next thing, especially if your hips are really tight like mine. If you don't have blocks, you can put your hands on anything that allows you a little bit of stability, but brings your hands up higher off of the floor. Then bring your foot out to the side in a half squat position. So if we imagine we're kind of squatting down, we'll just bring that one foot out to the side. Everybody's hips are a little bit different. So yours might be way out to the side, or yours might be closer in towards your elbow. It really just depends on where it naturally lands as you bring it out. And then begin to rock towards and away from your toes. Just really leaning into it, not applying any force, but just using your body weight to lean. Here, I would really like to see the knee travel the same direction as the second toe is pointing. And it just helps to take pressure off of the ligaments in the knee. Now, once you begin your movement, if you find that you need some small adjustments to find more comfort within your joints, then please feel free to do that. Right? Or you might change the angle that the foot is pointing. You might change how close your foot is into the midline of your mat. Maybe it's a little bit farther out. Maybe it's a little bit closer in. And every choice that you make and how you change the position of your body is just going to give you a different, unique experience. So just want you to play around with these small, finite adjustments. And then as you make that adjustment, take a few breaths to observe. If the first impression is, ow, 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 that's painful, change it right away. Right? But if you're not quite sure what the experience is, take a little bit of time to breathe into it. Continue to rock and notice what areas of your body are impacted by that small change. And see if you can intuitively tap into the wisdom of your body. Ask it how to change the position ever so slightly to be closer to what you need, to open your body physically, energetically, maybe emotionally. If the knee that's down on the mat is getting a little tender, you can use a blanket, pillow, or fold the side of your mat in. And then begin to circle with your hips. Now at this point, the knee can come out of that groove and rotate it as well, as long as it feels okay within the joint. I want you to take it nice and slow so you get an opportunity to really experience the movement and the sensations that come along with it to determine if it's what your body needs the most, if it's what serves your body best. See how the bones move around in space, how they move at the joints. We have 3 working here. How the muscles feel as they attach into the joints and also in the big, deep belly of the muscle. See what areas you could release a little bit of tension where it's not needed. Maybe you relax your head and relax your neck and let your head hang heavy. Allow your jaw to unhinge and your cheeks to soften. And take your circles in the opposite direction. And such a simple change in direction can change what we experience greatly. So really allowing yourself the time to experience all that comes with the movement. Notice how your breath can impact what you experience. Letting your exhales carry you through the really deep stretches. And you can either continue to keep your body in one position or just continue to make little small adjustments that allow you those different experiences. Take one more rotation at your own pace. And then as you finish the rotation, stack your knee directly above your ankle. As you exhale, if your body allows, begin to lower your chest down towards the mat. This might be just bending your elbows a little bit. But if you can come to rest on your forearms, either on your blocks or all the way to the floor, to let your shoulders and your neck soften, that would be the best as far as releasing tension. But if it's just too much of a stretch for your hip or your low back, then just taking the soft bend in the elbows. Take your inhales into the tension and allow the tension to release through a big open mouth sigh out. Slowly come all the way back up onto your palms. Bring your knee back in and take any counter movement that feels good for you. Sometimes it's just extending that leg out behind you, extend and bend. Sometimes it's a little bit more cat and cow, letting your hips rock from side to side, downward facing dog. Whatever your body's calling for, there's no wrong way unless you're experiencing pain within your body. So letting go of the thinking mind and just see what you experience. Let your body tell you what it's needing right now. As you come back into tabletop, taking a moment of stillness to observe any differences you notice between the right and the left. Again, it might just be in the physical body, but we might also notice an energetic opening on the side that we already performed this nice series on. And switch sides. Take your other leg up to the side. Just bring it out into a half squat, let it land where it may, and then begin to rock. This is where we really get to experience the imbalance between the hips. If you didn't already know the tighter side, you usually figure it out pretty quick in this series. We also get to experience, what things our body needs in order to make this more beneficial. So as we start, just kind of shut off the thinking mind. See where you're needing a little bit of an adjustment. And take that tiny little adjustment. Maybe it brings very small changes within your body, and maybe it brings very big changes within your body. Both of which can be very beneficial. As you continue to rock, pay attention to how your breath coordinates with your movement. Allow it to continue to flow through your movement. So many times our energy gets stagnant because we hold our breath. I want you to continue to flow, letting your exhales help you carry out some of that tension. That might make you feel like you're able to ease a little bit deeper into the stretch. And find any area of your body that needs a little bit more softness, where effort is not needed in order to perform this movement. Maybe in your hands. Soften the space between your eyebrows. Find 1% more softness in your neck and shoulders. And allow your jaw to fully relax. Then take your hips in a circle, whatever direction feels natural to start with. Seeing how it feels in all the joints, right? Hip, knee, and ankle. We might experience a little bit of shift in the low back and SI joint. You don't have to stay on a flat foot if it feels good to roll around on the bottom of your foot and experience all of the joints within the foot. You can do that. And there's no wrong way to perform this movement unless you're experiencing pain. Keep breathing through the movement. And when you notice your mind wandering away from what your body is doing right now and the rhythm of your breath, just observe without judgment and try to anchor your focus back onto your mat. Whatever allows you to stay present in this moment. It might be your breath, it might be the experience within your body. Switch directions. It might be your intention. It might be a mantra that you like to repeat for yourself. Whatever draws your focus onto your mat when your monkey mind wants to wander. Take 2 more rotations at your own pace. There's no rush. And as you come back to the center, stack your knee above your ankle. If your body allows, in the next exhale, coming down in the squat hold. So I might lower down to the elbows. I really like the different height blocks for this option. Finding a position in which you can just find a little bit of stillness and breathe, really using those big exhales at an open mouth, letting your jaw hang open and soft. Feeling all the muscles around your eyes relax. And come back up onto your palms. Bring your knee back in. Finding, again, any counter movement that works for you. Might be the same thing that you performed on the opposite side, or maybe your body is calling for something a little bit different in order to bring you back into balance. Finding that which serves your body best. When you feel like your hips have shifted a little bit back into neutral, we're going to come around into a seated position of your choice. So that might be easy seated, might be butterfly, might be staff with your legs extended out. You might be a little bit more comfortable sitting up on heights, which might be a block or a bolster, whatever feels the best for you here. Find a nice comfortable seat, allowing your pelvis to be neutral and your spine to be long and tall. And you can either find a soft gaze or close your eyes. Your hands might just rest on your body or down by your sides. Feel your sit bones ground down towards the earth. Sending your exhales downward through your sit bones. Allowing yourself to really feel that connection with the earth. And saying either out loud or just softly in your mind, I am grounded in this moment. Without losing that ground, on your next inhale, lift your crown up to the stars, finding length in your spine, lightness in your torso, and opening through the spinal column to allow energy to flow all the way up. And saying out loud or just to yourself, I am long and light. On your next exhale, feel your shoulders sink down away from your ears. Feel the muscles between your eyebrows soften. And find a little bit of space in between your back teeth so that your jaw can relax. And repeat out loud or just in your mind, I give myself permission to be stress-free in this moment. On your next exhale, bow your chin down to your chest. Just allowing your neck to relax, your head to become very heavy. Maybe even feeling the skin on your face shift with gravity. As all the muscles in your face soften. With each exhale, you might feel your chin sink just a little bit lower. Now you can either stay here in a little bit of stillness, or if it feels good, you can take half or full circles with your head. Remembering that there is no rush. There's no schedule. It's your opportunity to put everything else aside and just be here with your body and your breath. I promise everything else will be there when you're finished. So take this time to nourish yourself. Allow your body to speak to you in what it needs, and honor your body by fulfilling that request. Allow your breath to continue to flow in and out at a natural pace. And if you need a little more stress relief, you can always use the open mouth clearing breaths. Don't get down on yourself if your mind wanders. Just observe and come back to your anchor. If you're taking full circles, make sure to change direction and see how that change in direction gives you a different experience. Next time you come back to bottom center, pause there. On your exhale, feel your head sink just a little bit lower. And bring your head up to neutral. You can keep your eyes closed or softly blink your eyes open and relax your arms down by your sides. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Release your left hand beside your left hip and reach over your ear with your right, pressing down through your right sit bone, pulling your left shoulder down away from your ear. Inhale, back to center, reach up, find some length. And exhale, right hand down, reach with your left. Breathe into the left side ribs, finding space and length. Inhale, back to center, right arm up. Exhale, left hand down. Allow both shoulders to stay relaxed down away from your ear, and make sure there's enough space in between your arm and your ear so that your neck can find a nice neutral alignment. Once your neck has found neutral alignment, if it feels okay, turn and look up past your right arm to the ceiling. Then down to your left hand and the floor. And bring your eyes forward. Inhale, left arm back up. Exhale, right hand down, reach with your left. Again, finding neutral alignment for your neck. And if it feels okay, look up past your left arm to the ceiling. Then down to the floor and your right hand. Bring your eyes forward. Inhale, right arm back up. Exhale, twist to the left. Right arm comes in front. Inhale, back to center, reach up, extend your spine. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Tailbone all the way up. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist right. Excuse me. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist left and hold. Your right hand might find the top of your left thigh to help give you a little bit pull into that deeper twist. Keep sitting up nice and tall with each inhale and finding a little bit of softness and possibly a deeper twist in your exhale. And keep your torso twisting to the left and only turn your head, look over your right shoulder. Inhale, back to center, reach up, find some length. Exhale, twist right to hold. Even out your weight between both sit bones. Sometimes we have a tendency to lean one way or the other. Keeping your torso twisting to the right, turn your head to look over the left shoulder. Inhale back to center, find some length. Release your arms down by your sides. Inhale, shrug your shoulders up by your ears, squeeze them nice and tight, and exhale, let them drop down. And inhale, squeeze them back up by your ears, and exhale, let them drop back down. One more inhale, squeeze back up, and exhale, let it all go. Next, scoot forward on your mat so that you have enough room to lay all the way down onto your back. And I'm going to turn my mat to the side really quick so you have a different view of the floor series. And as you come down onto your back, making sure that you have your strap handy, and draw both knees into your chest. Now your knees can be apart or your knees can be together. Your ankles might cross or your feet might be side by side. You can grip your legs or you can let them free float. Allow your neck and shoulders to stay resting comfortably on the mat. Maybe you find a little bit of movement that allows you to feel like you're getting a light low back massage. Or maybe you find a few moments of stillness where the only subtle movement is that of your breath flowing in and out of your body. And keep your right knee drawn into your chest and place your left foot on the mat. That might be with your knee bent or your leg extended all the way out. You can even open your left leg into a half butterfly if that feels good. And draw circles with your knee. Whatever range of motion feels good on this side, and taking a few in the opposite direction. We already got kind of deep into the hips. You just want to explore it a little bit further. See if there's any points where it feels a little sticky. And as you come back to center, take your strap or your tie or your belts, whatever you have at home, to give you a little extra length on your arms. Place it around the bottom of your foot. Take as much bend in your right knee as you need for comfort in your hamstrings and your low back. And then begin to draw circles on the ceiling with your foot. As you begin to move around in circles, you might choose to change the position of your left leg to find a different experience or more comfort. So kind of checking in with both sides to see what your body needs in order to find that balance between right and left, to find comfort. And again, taking it at your own pace. Maybe noticing if you're rushing through it. Sometimes we're just so used to going through the motions, doing the thing, and not really experiencing what we are doing in that moment. Sometimes we just take our busy life and that pace that it has at every other moment and draw it into our yoga practice. Sometimes it's just uncomfortable to slow down because we're not used to it. Seeing how well your mind sits with the idea of slowing down and taking the time to be in the moment and be with the experience. About setting aside the obligations and the tasks and the to-do lists and just doing something amazing for your body and your mind. Start to take your circles in the opposite direction. And again, seeing how that change in direction can change what you experience. Notice the areas that might need a little extra love. Might feel a little extra tense. Maybe you're kind of sore from a class that you did earlier in the week. Extending some compassion to your body, and instead of pushing it really hard, seeing if instead you can soften into it. If you can find that surrender and that relaxation, and in turn, gaining trust from your body and maybe a deeper opening. Allow your breath to aid your body through the movement, and letting those exhales help you through the tight spots. Take one more rotation at your own pace. And as you come back up to the center, take both ends of your strap in the right hand. Extend your left arm out to the left to give you some counterbalance. And let your right leg fall open to the right. Extended hands, a big toe. A lot of times in this pose, we find a little bit of external rotation, and it makes the hip sometimes easier to open up just a little bit. However, everybody's hip joints are formed just a little bit differently. So finding that which serves your body best, which allows your body to open in the ways that it needs to find mobility, to find that sense of opening, to find relief. Take your inhale into the right hip, and send your exhale down the right leg and out through your right heel. On your next exhale, tighten a little bit through your core. Let your core help your leg come back to center. Bring the straps into your left hand. Start by a little external rotation of the right leg. Then bend your knee and bring it to the outside of your ribs into a half happy baby. Now I like to start with my heel a lot closer to my sit bone, a big bend in my knee, in my right knee, to kind of do a little examination of how my hip is feeling first. Taking the hamstring out of play. And then if it feels like it can take it a little bit deeper, on the next exhale, begin to slowly open the bend in the knee. You're putting a little bit of stress on the hamstring to stretch, to open it up just a little bit. And now you can stay here in a moment of stillness and just kind of breathing into it. Or you can mindfully take some movements in the knee joint, opening and closing the bend in the knee. See how that changes your experience. We might go to 90. We might go just a little bit farther. Really paying attention to how it feels in the hamstring and how the hamstring, where the hamstring comes into the top of the femur, down in the knee joints. Not forcing anything into a position that is way too far for that joint. Way too far for the muscle to stretch. Really trying to find an approach of ease. Now again, your left leg might find a different position than it was in the extended hands of big toe, or when you were circling with your leg. Each choice that you make is, again, just going to give you a different experience. Then extend your right leg back up to the ceiling. If your left leg isn't extended all the way out, it might feel best to extend it all the way out. And take your right leg across your body into revolved hand to big toe, or kind of an extended leg spinal twist. Now this one, flattening your shoulders up against the mat. Extend your right arm out to the right. Your eyes might look up to the ceiling, or you might look over towards your right arm. If this is way too intense on the right leg, you can bend your knee. You can let some slack into your strap and allow your heel to come towards the bottom of your pants. Or you can just let your foot hover farther above the floor. One last option is to bend your left knee, bring your heel in towards your sit bone, and you can either just let it relax there, or you might be able to grab your foot with your right hand. Take a big deep inhale into your right hip, and exhale to side out. If you clasped your left foot, let it extend all the way back out. On the next exhale, bring a little bit of tension into your core, helping you roll back to center. Release your strap and take both knees back into your chest. Even though we were in this pose just a few minutes ago, understanding this is a completely different moment. Your body has been through a variety of different changes in those few minutes. And so allow yourself to just kind of soak in what your body experienced. See how the right and the left sides feel a little bit different. And then keep your left knee drawn in. Place your right foot on the mat. With your left knee bent, draw a few circles. Getting a little bit more movement through the left hip joint. Just seeing if there's any other areas that are still a little sticky. Take it in the opposite direction. And then as you come back to center, extend your left foot up to the ceiling with your strap around the bottom of your foot. Take as much bend in your right knee as you need. And then start to draw circles on the ceiling with your left foot. Start out small to feel it out. And then if your body allows, letting it go a little bit bigger. Really trying to use the strap to guide your foot around. As little tension in your leg as possible. Really trying to use the strap to support it in this rotation rather than to guide it. Now I'm right-handed, so I always want to reach and grab with my right hand, but I try to guide it with my left just to help build some synapses in my brain by doing a motor skill that I'm not used to with my non-dominant hand. So you want to challenge your brain a little bit. You can try that. For me, the urge keeps coming up to put it in my right hand, and I have to resist that urge. Start to circle in the opposite direction. When we do those things that feel weird and we have to resist the urge to just shift into our comfort zone, it allows us to be a little bit more awake in the moment instead of just going through the motions, instead of just kind of being a robot and allowing ourselves to zone out. See what sensations arise in this side. And even though we're trying to take our body through the same range of motion, Maybe this side needs something just a tiny bit different than the right side did in order to bring balance between the right and left sides. So tapping once again into that intuition and seeing what your body needs in order to balance out. Take one more rotation at your own pace. And as you come back up to the center, bring the straps into your left hand if they aren't already. Extend your right arm out to the right. And as you exhale, let your left leg open to the left. Extend hand to big toe. Again, you may find a different position for your right leg that suits your body a little bit better. Half butterfly, just a bent knee pointed to the ceiling or extended out. Sometimes it's just trial and error, as every moment of each day might, your body might call for something just a little bit different. Take your inhales into the tension and see if you can release just a little bit with your exhale. Let your core and your exhale bring you back to the center. Bring the straps into your right hands. Begin to bend your knee and bring it to the outside of your ribs, half happy baby. Again, maybe starting off with your heel really close to your sit bone, the big bend in your knee. Check in with your hip first. And then on your next exhale, if it feels okay on your hamstring, your hip, and your low back, maybe opening the bend in the knee. Again, you can open and close the bend in the knee. Or you can find one position in which just to hold and breathe. See what the focus and the magic of your breath can do to help your body release and surrender. Take one more big deep breath. And extend your left foot back up to the ceiling. If your right leg is bent, you might want to start with it extended all the way out to the bottom of your mat. And as you exhale, bring your left leg across your body. Again, this side might need some different adjustments in order to feel comfortable, in your IT band and your hamstring, your low back, your glutes, even your shoulders. This pose brings a lot of muscles into play. Sometimes we can feel a little overwhelmed. It can be a really big, deep stretch. See what tiny little adjustments you can make in order to find a little bit more comfort. Again, the option is there to bend your right knee. Maybe you can grab your foot. Maybe on one side you were able to do it and not the other. That's okay. Let your exhale bring you back to center. Release your strap. Take both knees back into your chest. We've been here a couple times already before, but this moment is different than the last. You might choose the same options, or you might choose something different. Choose whatever feels good. Whatever allows you to stay in the moment, what serves your body best. And release your feet to the mat with your knees bent. Slide them out wide until they touch the edges of your mat. Then drop them from right to left in a windshield wiper motion. And once you begin this motion, you might notice that you need to take a different adjustment of your feet in order to make it more comfortable within your hips, your low back, or your knees, maybe even your ankles. So making those small adjustments with your feet to make it feel a little bit better. And I like to give options on this pose. You can either be a little bit lazy and only use as much energy as you need in order to bring your knees back to center, and then let the weight of your legs bring you over to the opposite side. Or you can be a little bit more active and say, as your knees come over to the left, you press into the inner right arch to push your right hip forward into full extension. Right glute raises up off of the earth, and you might find a little bit more opening in the right hip flexor and the right quad. Then you let your right hip come back down to the mat. Let the knees come over to the left. Press into the inner left arch to extend into the left hip. Use the glute here, so you might find a little bit of tension in the glute. To press the hip forward, and a little bit of stretch in the hip flexor and quad. So it's your choice. Lazy, a little bit more active, or just a kind of a combination of both. Your face might point straight up to the ceiling, or you might roll your head back and forth from side to side, maybe looking the opposite way of your knees. Allow your arms to just rest heavy, your torso to be soft and relaxed. Even out on both sides. And then as you come back up to the center, let your feet stay wide and bring your knees into the center line to rest up against one another. So again, you might need to adjust the width of your feet here to be a little bit more comfortable. But just allowing your legs to fully relax and to support one another. As you take this moment of stillness, take a scan of your body and see what else it may need prior to entering into the final relaxation. Maybe it's just a little bit more time to relax. Maybe it's an additional stretch. And then taking the next 6 breaths to perform any asana of your choice. If you're doing it, a unilateral stretch, making sure to even out on both sides. Taking the next few moments to settle into stillness, into the position of your choice for final relaxation. Whatever your body is asking for in this moment. A lot of times we feel the expectation is just to lay on our back in corpse pose. That pose can feel very exposed if you're feeling like you need a little bit more support and closure and a little bit more grounding, might recommend belly shavasana or laying on your side into a supported fetal position. And then checking back in with your breath. Feel the rise and fall of your belly. Feel the air as it flows in and out of your body. Notice your lungs as they fill and empty. Notice the temperature of the air as it passes across your nostrils, across the tissue on the inside of your nose. Give yourself permission to surrender into the relaxation. I know it's even harder to practice at home. Allowing yourself just 2 more minutes, all for you. Feel the muscles around your eyes soften. Your eyeballs sink deep into their sockets. Feel your jaw unhinge. Feel the muscles relax away from the bones. Take a big deep breath in through your nose. And exhale, let it all go. I encourage you to take as much time as you need for yourself in your final relaxation. I see and I honor the light and the love in each of you because it is also within me. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Namaste.